Welcome back to Maths with Mrs. J. We're now at the point where we can do some slightly more difficult questions. If you need some assistance with using your distributive law, expanding or collecting like terms, you might like to have a look at my videos on expansion. Let's just have a look at our first example here. And let's see what we want to do, how we're going to proceed here. We have an unknown on both sides of the equation. What you need to realise, and I did mention this in our previous video, is that whatever sign is immediately to the left of a term comes with it as a package deal. So this 3x is really a plus 3x. So if I want to get rid of it from that side, I've got to take it away from both sides. I can't just pretend it doesn't exist and get rid of it. I need to do the same thing to both sides. Let's do that. Let's take our 3x away from both sides. Now, don't forget, this is a -1. You can't forget that the minus is actually there. Now we can gather up our like terms. 4x minus 3x. How many x's do we have? We have 1. Now we're quite lucky, we've only got one thing to undo. How do we undo adding 3? Well, we subtract 3. So x is -4. We can check that we're right. I'm not going to do that with all of the ones for this slide, but I'll do it for a few. Our left-hand side here is going to be 4 times -4 plus 3, which is -16 plus 3, which is -13. So that's what the left-hand side equals if x is -4. Let's see what our right-hand side would equal. 3 times -4 minus 1 is -12 minus 1 is -13, so we're all good. Okay? I'm not going to do that with all of them. It is a good idea to check your answer. You don't have to necessarily write it down every time though. All right, the next one, this is where you might benefit from having a look at some of my expansion videos. Just remember the distributive law. And remember also that whatever sign is immediately to the left of a term is a package deal. So when we expand here, we're going to get 3x plus 18 minus 2x, and then -2 times -3 is plus 6. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you might notice that you've got 6's on both sides, so you can kind of like cancel them off and make the right-hand side 0, but let's not go there just at the moment. 3x minus 2x is x. 18 plus 6 is 24. We want to get rid of the adding of the 24, so we're going to take that away. And we're going to end up with x is -18. And again, it's advisable to check. You can use a calculator to assist you if you want to. That one does check out to be perfectly fine. All right, let's go on and do a few more examples. Okay, so we've got some more situations where we need to use the distributive law, as well as we're going to have x's on both sides of the equation. All right, let's expand. Just be careful with your expansion. We're going to get 7x plus 21 equals 8x plus 56. If we want to get all our x's on one side, you could bring them all over to the right-hand side or all over to the left-hand side, up to you. If you're used to having your x on the left-hand side, it might be an idea to get everything over there. We're undoing adding 8x. So we're going to take away 8x from both sides. 7x minus 8x is -x. We're going to undo this addition of the 21. So -x is going to be what, 35? Now, if -x is 35, how do you get x? Well, you can either think of -x as -1 times x, or as x divided by -1. Either way, when you do the opposite, you're going to end up with negative 35. Probably easiest if you think of it as negative 1 times x. So you're going to divide 35 by negative 1 and you're going to get negative 35. Let's have a look at this next one here. Again, expanding. So we're going to get 8x plus 40 is 6x plus 42. That's really a plus 6x. So when we get rid of it, we're going to get 8x plus 40 minus 6x is 42. 8x minus 6x, just gathering up our like terms. 8x minus 6x is 2x plus 40 equals our 42. We're going to get rid of that plus 40 by subtracting 40 from both sides. And then final step is to undo the multiplication of 2 by dividing by 2. We get a nice simple answer here of 1. We can check very easily here. 1 plus 5 is 6. 8 times 6 is 48. 1 plus 7 is 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So yeah, it all works out perfectly fine. So we've done our little check in our head there. All righty, let's do one more. A lot of examples. Okay, this one's basically the same thing. We've just got slightly more complicated situation. Again, we're going to expand and we're just going to be really careful here because we've got a negative 3 outside of that bracket. And we've got a negative 4 outside of that bracket. Be careful. Right, negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 8 is negative 24. So our left-hand side expands to give us that. Our right-hand side, well, 5 is just 5. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times positive 1 is negative 4. Now, before we do anything else, let's just tidy up each side so that we've just got an x term and a constant term before we start moving x's around. So 5 minus 4 is 1, isn't it? So we've got negative 4x plus 1, or you could write it as 1 minus 4x. It's exactly the same thing. Now, we want to get rid of this minus 4x. How do you get rid of subtracting 4x? By adding it. So we're going to have negative 3x minus 24 plus 4x equals our 1. What's negative 3x plus 4x? Well, you're down at negative 3, you've come up by 4, you've just got 1x, haven't you? Now all we've got to do is undo this subtracting 24. We undo subtracting 24 by adding 24, so x is 25. So that one works out quite nicely. Let's have a look at the last one for this video. Again, expanding, collecting like terms, etc. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 5 is 30. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Again, tidy up each side first, just so that you've got an x term and a number term. So this is 4x minus 2. Now that's a plus 4x, so to get rid of it, we're going to subtract it from both sides. So we get negative 2, 6x minus 4x is 2x. Get rid of our plus 30 by subtracting 30. And get rid of our multiplication by 2 by dividing by 2. And we get x is negative 16. We should be able to check that that works, and it does.